Hello everyone, welcome back to my another video. On this video we will be looking into how you can get started with Git. This is going to be a different kind of video. Like normally I make videos on JavaScript, but if you're a programmer, like Git is a really essential tool and you need to have like some sort of knowledge on Git. And whenever you hear about Git, you might be thinking it's related to GitHub. We're going to touch a little bit portion of GitHub, but like most of the topic that we're going to discuss today is going to be the Git command line interface. So by the end of this video, you should have a good amount of knowledge on how Git works and how you can get started and start using on your own projects, and which is going to be really helpful, like especially if you're going to like go to your some sort of job, right? Let's say if you want to land job, you need to have like knowledge of Git. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content on the channel, please give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing out many more contents in the future. So without further ado, let's get started on this today's video. So on my left hand side, most of the tasks I'll be doing will be on the VS Code terminal, where I have just the empty directory and I don't have any files in here. On your right, we're going to use this GitHub to create a new repo, and I'll show you how you can push your code from local to the remote repository, basically. And it's going to be towards the end of the video. So now, let's start with what is Git. So Git is basically a version control system. So where you have the ability to, let's say, if I have some amount of stable code somewhere, don't worry about it. We're going to understand everything in the later on. If we have some sort of stable code, we don't want to break that stable code. Rather, what Git allows us to do is take that stable code, put it somewhere on the bucket, and make a change on that, like the lower bucket. And once you're confident that this code is going to work and not going to break anything, you can simply take that bucket and put it into the older bucket. So that way you have stable, like releases and everything. So that's the purpose of Git. And also one more thing, what Git allows us to do is, let's say if you mess up something on your code, it allows us to go back to the previous stable code, and which is quite handy, especially if you're on working on a giant project, and if you're like working on a corporate level job. So now we know a basic idea of like what Git does and what Git is. Let's get started. So let's say right now we have an empty project here. And if I do, in order to find out, let's say if the Git is initialized on your project or not, is quite simple. All you need to do is go to your directory and run the command git and status. As you can see, it says not a Git repository. So if I do git init, so what this command will do is it will initialize a Git repository on your current directory. It says that the Git has been initialized, and it says that .git folder is created. So right now you don't see any files called .git because it's not showing the hidden files. It's like it is basically inside the hidden file, so you don't need to worry about that. Now if I do git status, it says that I am on master branch and I have not committed any code yet. So what do I mean by commit? So commit is like like the ladder. Let's say if you're making let's say if you're adding some sort of features, and let's say you added half of the feature and you are still like working on the other half. So rather than like putting all of your like basically how do I say it, all of your progress, basically, you don't want to put it inside one bucket. What Git allows us to do is, all right, I'm halfway through, through my progress, and I will take half and save it somewhere so that I don't lose it. Because let's say if you mess up something towards the end, you're gonna have to like go back and track, like, all right, where did I mess up? So basically, you will do like, all right, as soon as you have some sort of stable code, you will start committing code. Now, on my empty directory, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file. So let's do it with our command line actually. In order to create a file, you can use touch command, and let's say I want to create a file with name index.html. So as soon as I do that, it will create a file called index.html file. Now let's clear this one. Clear. And now if I do git status again, as you can see, it says that this file is not tracked on Git. So what does it mean? So Git knows that, like something has been changed on current directory, but it hasn't been saved. So now what we can do is let's say this is the progress. We are halfway through on our progress. Let's commit this code. In order to commit a code, what you need to do is first you need to add those on the staging area. So what is the purpose of staging? Right now, I only have index.html file, right? Let's say if you had 10 of the files here, and on 10 of the files, you have, on 5 files, you have CSS changes, and 5 files, you have JavaScript changes. You don't want to add those on the same bucket, right? Rather, what would be the smart way to do it is add all of the CSS changes on one bucket, and all of the JavaScript bucket on other changes, like on the other bucket, right? I'm just making a hypothetical situation here. Sometimes you might want to combine, let's say if you're making changes on one HTML file, then you might want to combine the CSS file and that particular HTML file. So you need to be aware of that. So now we know, like what is the purpose of staging. We will look into how you can, work with staging, right? As you can see, it says use git add. So that's what we're going to use. I can simply say git add. If you want to put everything, like all of the untracked files or like modified files on the staging area, you can just do git add dot. That will stage everything. But if you're being picky and if you want to do file by file, you can do index.html. And let's say if I had one more file changed, which was index.css, I'm just making this file up. I can do this index.css. So that will add 2 of the files in there. Let me get rid of this. And as soon as I do that, it doesn't display anything here. And since we're dealing with the command line, it becomes kind of boring. So, but what happened is if we do git status now, it says that this is in staging area. Now it says changes to be committed. Now what I can do is I can simply commit the changes. So let's say before even committing it, let's say if you change your mind, you don't want to commit this change. So how do you revert it? You can do git rm -- cast, and it says file over here. The file name is index.html. So if you do that and check the git status again, it says that this needs to be staged again. Okay, now we know how to go back. Let's add these changes. I'm just going to do git add for this case. And if I do git status again, it shows that it's in staging area. Now it's time to commit the changes. The way to commit the changes is you're going to do git and use the command called commit. And you want to do -m, meaning that we're going to write a commit message. And inside the quotes, you can write a commit message. So every time you write a commit message, you want to have some kind of meaningful text in there, so that if someone comes and looking at your project and looking at the Git history, they will know, all right, what this commit means. So in this case, since we created a new index.html file, I can just simply say added index.html. If I do that, before I even clear that, let's look here. It says that one file has been changed. We have inserted 0 lines and 0 adds deletions because we didn't add or remove any characters over here, right? So that makes sense. But now, if I do git status, it says nothing to commit, working tree is clean. So there is nothing pending task in git log. Since we're talking about git log, now let's look at the git log. So in order to see all of the commits that's been done on your project, what you can do is just do git log. You can just use git log and it will show you all of the logs of your commit history. But what I like to do is pass an extra flag called -- line. What this will do is it will give you the cleaner version. over here it says that here is in master, meaning like our current here is in master, we're in master branch, and there is a commit message saying added index.html file, and the characters over here is commit has. So this is going to be the unique characters on Git, and this is really helpful like whenever you're trying to go back or like revert the changes on Git. All right, now if I do git branch, it says that all right, I'm in a master branch right now. Let's say on our hypothetical project, this is the stable code that we have. Now we want to add some sort of features to it. We could just go here and make a change on this index.html file, but the smart way to do it is, because as we already know, this is the stable code. What we want to do is we want to take this code and put it somewhere in the bucket. We're going to make out all of the feature enhancement and all of the code changes that we want to do. And once we do that, we're going to take that feature bucket and bring back over here on master. So how do we do that? So there, on Git, there is a concept called branching. Now, in order to create a branch from your stable code to the feature code, you can do a git branch. So this is the command to create a branch, right? So now whenever you're naming your branch, it's always good practice to have some sort of meaningful information on what you're working on. And I will say feature slash. Now let's say on this branch I want to create two files. One would be JavaScript file and one would be a CSS file. I can say something like add JS and CSS files. Do note over here we are using Git and we are using the branch term, and all of this is going to be our branch name. You can name whatever you want, but let me make sure it suits your need and it provides you some sort of value whenever you look at that branch. As soon as I do that, it doesn't show me anything or prompt me with anything, so we don't know what's going on. But if we do git branch again to see the list of branches, as you can see, it created my feature branch. And now the asterisk sign over here, you're seeing over here, that means that we're in master branch, but we want to make a change, right? Because we want to add a new feature. I can copy the name of the branch and I can simply do git checkout. So this is the way to go to the next branch, by the way. Let's say if you want to go to one branch to another, you will use git checkout and put the branch name in there. All right, it says that switch to branch, whatever the name is. And if I do git status, it says nothing to commit, but that makes sense. But if you notice over here, we still have this index.html file where we can make a change. Now let's say I want to add a HTML template over here. I just added that. I want to do git status. Now it says that this is modified. Now I need to add it to the staging area, and I want to do git index.html. I do git clear. I want to do git commit. Now on the commit message, what do I want to write? For message, I will say something like added contents for index.html. It says that one file has been changed and we made 12 insertions, meaning we didn't delete anything, but rather we added a bunch of stuff. Now if I do git status again, it says that I'm on feature branch and my working tree is clean. Now let's say I want to go to stable branch, right, which is master in this case. If I do git checkout master, because I told you earlier, right, you're going to use checkout to maneuver through branches. If I do that, all of a sudden our index.html file doesn't have any contents anymore. So why is that? Because whenever we created our stable code, we didn't have any contents, right? But we took this code, boilerplate code, and we made changes to our feature branch. So now what we need to do is, let's say we completed our feature code. Now it's stable enough to bring back to master. So how do we do that? So the process to do that is through merging. On Git, there is a term called merge. So whenever you wanna merge one branch to another, you're gonna use that term. So if I do git branch again to I'm doing just to copy the branch name, by the way. You don't have to do it every time because I keep on forgetting the branch name and I don't want to waste your time to typing the branch name. Okay, let's think about it. We are trying to merge the code that's in this branch and bring back to master, right? So right now the destination branch is master. Whenever you are doing some kind of merge, what you want to do is go to the destination branch first. And we already know we are in destination branch. And once you're there, all you need to do is to git, use the command called merge, and put the branch name in there. Right now it's feature slash whatever this is. Now if I press enter, all of a sudden, as you can see, we can get the code in here. So if I do, just to make sure you guys, like I'm not doing anything, if I do git, hold on, git branch, I'm in master branch, and this was the change made on our feature branch. Now let's say I'm going to show you example how to change the branch while creating the branch. Now let's say we want to add a new feature, which in this case would be we will add CSS and JavaScript files. I know that if I'm right now just to see you guys you guys understood understanding everything what I'm going to do, I'm trying to go to the new branch while creating the new branch. I'm not going to make change on this one. So in order to do that, what you can do is use git checkout, because that is what we need to move from one branch to another. And if you pass -b, meaning that we're going to create a branch out of it, all we need to do is provide a branch name here. I can do something like feature slash add. Oh, I messed up earlier. I added the branch name to JS or whatever. Let's just say add JS for now. It doesn't matter. And as soon as I do that, what it does is it creates a new branch called feature slash add JS. And now it also switches the branch, which is quite handy. Now if I do git status again, it says nothing to commit, and we're in this branch, and let's add a new file. Let's just do it from here. This is faster. Index.css, and I'm going to create a new file called index.js. So if I do git status again, it says that we have two different files that needs to be tracked. Now let's say I did the JavaScript part and I want to commit that. I can do git add index.js, and if I do git status again, it should say this is in staging area, so I need to commit this. I can do git commit message. I will say added JS file. I'll clear this one. Now if I do git status, it says that this needs to be taken care of, so we will do that right now. I can do git add index.css, and I can commit with the commit message of added CSS file. Alright, now clear that one, do git status. Now it says nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Now let's go. Well, let's say this feature is also now in good enough situation. We have done all of the testing and everything works as expected. Now it's time to merge it, right? Now to merge it, we want to go to our destination branch, or wherever we have our stable code. And now what we can do is to git checkout master. And if I do git status, as you can see, it only has index.html file. Now we want to bring that feature branch, right? I will just do git branch to copy the feature branch. So we want to grab the branch from here. I can simply do git merge like we did earlier and put the branch name in there. As soon as we do that, we should see JavaScript and CSS file in there. Okay, nice. So let me think about it, see if I covered everything or not. Oh, let's look at the log actually, since we made a bunch of commits. One line. As you can see, this is the first commit that we did, and this is the second one, and this is the third one. I had a typo in there. That was my bad. And this is the fourth commit. The good thing about Git is, right, let's say I'm in index right here, because right now we're on this commit, right? Our head. Now let's say, all right, this code doesn't work anymore. We want to go back. How do we go? As you can see, these are all unique commit hash. You can just copy the commit hash. Let's say I want to go all the way to the beginning. I can just simply git checkout and paste the commit right there. As soon as I do that, all of a sudden, like a magic, we are right there. All right, I'm gonna do git checkout master again. As you can see, I can get everything back. So this is the beauty of using Git. Like you can go wherever you want. Like depending on like if you have a good commit and everything is well set up for you, and you can do whatever you want. So this is I think that should be it. Like that. If you got this so far, you should have clear understanding of like how to even like get started with the Git now, because a lot of people get confused. Like whenever they think about Git, they think about the GitHub. GitHub is just a remote like repository where you can like put your code on cloud basically. These kind of command line tools are really handy because you can't just push your code to like have your code on remote, right? Because you have to work locally too. So these like these will get you like help you a lot. I hope this provides you like enough information regarding Git. Now the final thing before I end the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how you can create a repository on GitHub, right? So if you have a GitHub account, what you want to do is on the top right, there is a plus icon over here. You can just click on a new repository and it will prompt you with this. And I can simply say as Git tutorial, and this is sample project for Git tutorial. So that should be good enough. I'm gonna make it as public so that you guys can like have access to. Although there is not like anything code like important, but because all of the important thing is on command line. And I can simply like use the defaults and just click here on create repository button. Now it will prompt me with this screen. And now one thing that you need to do is there are two options, right? One says like you can create a repository here and pull it on your local. You can do that as well, but since we already have made a progress on our project and we already have initialized our Git locally, we can use the option 2. Basically over here what it's doing is, because we're just going to copy paste it, so I just want to show you like simply what it's doing. And it's adding the remote repository over here, which is this. And if you look over here, this is the same SSH URL, which is going to be the shell script, and it's the secure one. So we should always use SSH rather than like HTTP. I mean, HTTPS is pretty secure, but I always trust SSH. And it's just we're just pushing the code to the GitHub. All right, we're just pushing in on our master branch. Now I can just simply copy from here, make sure I'm on master branch. All right, I'm going to push it from here. I can just paste the code in there, and all of a sudden, if I refresh the page here, our code is on remote repository, so everyone can access to it. Now, let's say, how do we, let's say if we made a change, right? Because we use that, like command line interface that they provided us. Now, how do we, because now you don't see those commands, right, on GitHub. So if we make a change, how do we, like push it? All you need to do is, let's say we made a change called title. So this is Git tutorial as a title. So if I do Git status, it says that I have modified this file. I'm on master branch, which is not really good thing to like make changes there, but for this one I'm just going to make a change here. I'm going to do git add git commit. Since I changed the title, I will say changed the title. As you can see, I committed that code. Now if I do git status, everything is clean. But whenever I do git status, since we already added our remote repo over here, on terminal it says that your branch is ahead of origin master. Origin means over here by one commit. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because we haven't pushed the commit that we just added, right, whenever we change the title. So now, in order to push your changes, all you need to do is just use git push, as like it mentions here. If I just do that, it says that like it has been pushed. Now if I refresh it again here, and you're not gonna see the change here, but if I go to index.html file, it says the title as this is a Git tutorial. Yeah, it's as simple as that. I think I'm going to end this video right here. So I hope this has provided you some sort of information, or like if it was valuable for you. Please give a thumbs up to the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing out many more contents in the future, as I mentioned earlier. I see my YouTube's, like YouTube's dashboard, and a lot of my viewers are not subscribed. So I would really appreciate it, guys, if you could just hit that subscribe button. It massively helps me a lot. And I think I will end the video right here. I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks.